Good afternoon, members of the media. The technical working group on the roadmap to address the impact of El Nino or rain has just completed its fifth meeting this morning, and we would like to share with you highlights of the agency's reports on the implementation status of the action plan of the government's El Nino Task Force. In retrospect, the President designated NEDA as head of the El Nino Task Force in mid-2015. This move was prompted by forecasts from PAG-ASA that El Nino will intensify from moderate to strong in late 2015 until May 2016. With this, NEDA has convened the task force in a series of interagency meetings to discuss and finalize the rain, which was subsequently approved by the President. Rain is aimed at mitigating the impact of the El Nino phenomenon in four areas. First, food security. Second, energy security. Third, health. And fourth, safety. This action plan focuses on 67 El Nino affected provinces throughout the country, including Metro Manila. Actually, since its formation in 2015, the technical working group has been meeting on a regular basis, and more recently, since January 2016, on a monthly basis. Today was our fifth meeting. With this, let me provide you a summary of the progress of RAIN based on the reports and discussions of the technical working group this morning. Government has been fairly successful in mitigating the impact of El Nino, particularly in ensuring sufficiency in supply of food and keeping food prices stable. This is through several means. One is production support, like irrigation and distribution of seeds in non-vulnerable and mildly affected provinces. Second, timely importation. And third, a price freeze in areas that declared a state of calamity. While drought usually entails low production, leading to high agricultural product prices, inflation data shows that prices of food, particularly rice, have been low and stable in the past months. In fact, for March, as the Philippine Statistical Authority reported just this morning, despite the El Nino phenomenon, rice prices remain lower than in the previous year. It declined by 1.7% in March since March of 2015 and 2% from February of 2016. And the rice prices have been declining consistently since October 2015. Likewise, the price of vegetables, while remaining elevated since November 2015, has trended down after peaking in January of 2016, declining by 2.9% in March 2016 from the previous month, for a total decline of 7.8% since the beginning of the year. Supply and buffer stock management is being done well with timely purchases. Moreover, despite the lack of water, there were no reported breakouts of diseases and epidemic, though we do not discount that there could still be health issues in some places. Also, according to the Social Weather Stations, or the SWS survey conducted from December 5 to 8, 2015, the 2015 average hunger rate of 13.4% is the lowest annual average hunger rate since 2004. Moreover, hunger in Mindanao fell by 8.7 points from 21.7% to 13%. This brought the 2015 average Mindanao hunger rate to 15.8%, the lowest since the 13.3% annual average in 2005. However, despite these encouraging numbers, we recognize that there could be areas that are feeling the brunt of El Nino. And for this, the role of LGUs is very crucial. We are certainly bothered by the fact that there are still people who go hungry. And there could be areas that are not yet being reached by government interventions. While the supply of food and production and other types of support, such as the distribution of food packs, seems enough, the challenge is in making the distribution system more efficient so that these actually reach the affected families in a timely fashion. We need to consider that some of the services are devolved to LGUs, and so we need to strengthen our coordination with local government units. We need to increase support for farmers to augment their incomes. For this, we need to accelerate programs like the Cash for Work and emergency employment, which are integral parts of RAIN. We need to improve coordination within government from national to local levels and also communication with affected families. It is very important that affected families know about the situation and know how to access government programs that are already in place. For these hotlines have been established, and we can give those numbers in a while. Finally, we would like to assure the public that government is doing its best to address the needs of affected areas and families, considering that they are among the poorest and the most vulnerable sectors. As mentioned, we have been fairly successful in mitigating the overall impact of El Nino, but we need to accelerate implementation of RAIN to address remaining gaps.
Thank you, Secretary Esguerra. Um, Now we open the floor for questions from the press. Celerina from Manila Shimbun.
Good afternoon. I'm Celerina Monte from the Daily Manila Shimbun Japanese newspaper. Sir, you have mentioned several steps that the government has undertaken with regard to addressing this impact of the El Nino. So I'm just wondering, why did that incident in Kidapawan happen? What could be the problem? Or could there be any agitators or what?
Uh, Actually, I think that matter is being investigated right now. Uh, I don't think that it is within NEDA's competence or the other agencies here to be able to respond to that. But what we're saying is, from where we sit, we recognize that there are programs on the ground. RAIN is being implemented. We do not discount the possibility that there could be gaps and that there are certain pockets or specific areas where the assistance has not been uh, has been deemed inadequate or they have not been reached. And so what has to be done is, I think, to intensify government's efforts to be able to address those gaps.
Sir, good afternoon. Ron Kalunsad of Kyodo News. Which areas, sir, can you cite are most affected as we speak now of the El Nino in terms of agriculture and how much loss have we monitored so far, sir?
Damages and
In terms of rain received by the area, Mindanao has rainfall received by the area. Mindanao has 20 provinces that that are experiencing less or 60% reduction of rainfall. Most of those are in Mindanao. The 23 provinces are most are in Mindanao. One is Cotabato, Zamboanga, Sultan Kudarat. There are parts in ARMM.
The impact on agriculture
if you can give me a minute just to get the total. Kasi meron po dito are broken into by commodities. So summary by region, I can provide you with the region. The biggest in terms of production loss is in region 10, brought about by El Nino at 2.462 billion. That's region 10. I have here only is the region by per region data of damage in agriculture in general. Yes, sir. January 2016 to present, to April 2. If you want the other regions, the next would be region 6 at 1.9 billion. Region 12 is next at 748 million. So those are the top three. Overall, we're looking, we have, this is our ano po, subject to validation, ongoing pa po yung validation. But the figure we have here is 6.5 billion. Yes, this is crop losses. Mhm.
13 trillion. We have a GDP of 13 trillion.
Over 13 trillion.
Over 13 trillion.
So these figures, sir, are was the expected projected figure, or this is already a trimmed down figure because of the mitigating actions that we have?
Actually, I think po, no, this is lower than what we have expected. Actually, to give an example, no, yung pong binabanggit ni Secretary Alcala is that if not for timely mitigation na ginawa po natin, particularly to give an example dun sa rice, we instituted during this El Nino period the HITA or the high yielding technology adaptation, wherein we used in areas suited and kayang i-adapt yung technology, the utilization of hybrid seeds instead of the certified seeds. And because of this, the projected loss of the rice program was at 900,000 metric tons, but we ended up losing around more than 200,000 metric tons during this El Nino period. So again, this is one of the methods by which the department adapted to or mitigated the effects of El Nino, because the hybrid seeds would have an additional more or less 30% yield as compared to certified seeds.
And is these figures are higher compared to previous El Nino incidents that if we have comparison?
Maybe I can give you, sir. In fact, if you compare it with the 2010 and the previous El Nino, this is much less than. And in 2010, I think we had a strong El Nino as well. But if I can just give you a later on the numbers in terms of total damage for agriculture. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Secretary Sigara, you mentioned that we need to fast track the implementation of RAIN and also address the gaps. Can you elaborate on that? What else should be fast tracked in terms of specific programs and projects, and also what are the gaps that needs to be addressed? And also, sir, with regards LG, the role of LGUs, which you mentioned is very crucial in this. What had been the gaps in terms of that, in terms of national to to local government coordination in terms of addressing the El Nino problems?
Actually, as I said earlier, on the supply side, production and on production as well as the production support related interventions. Uh, the general assessment is that that these are working, and the indication there is that prices have remained stable. Uh, the price of rice in general has gone down. That's the aggregate. But even in the drought-affected areas, the price level has generally remained stable. Uh, During the meeting this morning, we the assessment also pointed out that yes, the supply may be there. Yes, prices may be uh, stable, but the purchasing power may be inadequate, and so I think that is where more work needs to be done. Uh, Cash for work and emergency employment are part and parcel of the rain, and but these are areas where greater efforts need to be made. Uh, in particular, and this is touching on the role of LGUs. Uh, we need to strengthen the coordination and the partnership with LGUs because while we're looking at the aggregate and seeing that the behavior of prices remains stable, we probably need to do more narrow targeting in terms of the interventions, and this is where a closer coordination with the LGUs that are in the front line needs to be done. In other words, in terms of uh, assistance or identifying those areas that uh, need more assistance or more efficient delivery of the needed services.
Just very quickly, follow up, sir. So will we hire more for the cash for work? I'm sorry, program and for the emergency employment? Are you eyeing to ramp up hiring for that?
That is the intention. There is a lot of room for that.
How many more po kaya in the next few months?
Depende yon sa requests tsaka sa situation on the ground.
So far po, how many have we hired for this specific?
DSWD is in a better position
Yes, yes.
to answer that.
Thank you. Yung DSWD under the roadmap to address the impact of El Nino, meron po kaming dalawang very important interventions. At isa dito yung inyong naitanong, yung cash for work. Mula pa noong October 2015 ay nag-release na kami ng suporta sa pamamagitan ng funding na nirelease namin sa aming regional offices para po sa mga lokal na pamahalaan na naapektuhan. So far, as of April 4, meron na po kaming naibahagi na 523.8 million pesos na ito po ay funded ng Climate Change Adaptation Funds. At meron po kaming karagdagan na naibigay, pinakabago lang. Funded naman po ito sa aming QRF or Quick Response Funds na kabahagi po ng aming GAA. Meron na rin pong karagdagang na-release na 384.6 million para din po ito additional support through cash for work or family food packages doon po sa mga pamilyang talagang nangangailangan at mabigyan na kaagad ng food packs or di kaya assistance through food or cash for work. Yung ating cash for work ay hindi ko dala yung actual number of beneficiaries pero ito po ay equivalent to 10 working days na ang computation po ay 75% ng ating minimum wage amount doon sa regional areas na naapektuhan po ng El Nino. Marami pong probinsya na nakasama dito. Unahin ko po pagbanggit yung sa Central Mindanao, yung ARMM po at Cotabato. No? So doon sa report na nakuha namin, yung mga probinsya po ng ARMM, meron na po kaming na-release na 12.054 million para po sa cash for work. Sa General Santos, yung aming nirelease po ay mga family food packs at bigas po. 10,000 po bags of rice. Ito po yung aming partnership with the National Food Authority. At sa South Cotabato, meron kaming na-release na 35.9 million worth ng cash for work. At sa North Cotabato naman po ay 50.2 million pesos. Ito po yung para sa cash for work na funded po ng Climate Change Adaptation Funds. Meron din po kaming karagdagang naibigay po sa Region 12 para po again to support the areas of North and South Cotabato at yung remaining provinces. Ito po ay nagkahalaga ng 251 million pesos po ito. Kasama dito ang cash for work at additional po na food packages para po sa ating mga kababayan na naapektuhan po ng El Nino.
If I may just add, no, ang DPWH, meron din silang cash for work component na ang nangyari is within their regular program kasi nga malaki yung sakop ng El Nino. No? So ang ginawa dito is lahat ng mga proyekto nila in those El Nino affected areas ay inimplement ng maaga so that they can hire the workers, the local from the area. Kaya lang po wala pa kami ng numero nila. Pero na-implement po nila to.
Next, from ANC.
Sir, going back to the crop damage you mentioned earlier, overall 6.5 billion. Can you give us a comparison of your expectation for that same time frame? What you were projecting for that?
I don't have the yung projection ngayon. Again, I'll give you in a while. Balikan ko lang din po yung tanong kanina. But I'll give you, tatanong ko lang po yung projection in terms of crop damage. Yung tanong po kanina with respect to the previous El Nino and how yung damage as compared to today. In 1997 to 1998 El Nino, the total damage in terms of area was 677,441 hectares in agricultural damage. In 2010, it is at 555,102 hectares. And for the period, we count February 2015 to April 2 of 2016, we are at 373,494. So if you compare the El Nino of the past, this is substantially much less than what we have experienced previously. But I'll get back to you, sir, on the projection.
Can you attribute the lower figures, sir, to the mitigating efforts, irrigation?
Siyempre po, no, we have since 2015, implemented mitigation activities. And fortunately, yung sa simula ng 2015, we were experiencing also a mild El Nino na lumakas na lang po until now that it's now a strong El Nino. But then again, like the one I mentioned in terms of adapting into high-yielding technology, I think that's a big intervention that we have made, including also some others, which as a whole decrease the effects of El Nino.
Just one more question, please, for Mr. Manuel. With regards to what you were saying earlier, with the gaps and the possibility of increase in action of the LGUs, are you suggesting that what happened in Kinabawan was as a result of shortcomings of the LGUs there?
No, we're not. We're not saying that. I'm saying that in general, there ought to be tighter national and local coordination to address the gaps that we have identified.
Sir, for USEC, two questions. First question for USEC Palad. Magkano na po yung damage starting at the start of the El Nino? I want to just ask to clarify if the 6.5 billion is only for this year, January to March, or January to date, or that's from the start of the El Nino to today. And then second question for Secretary Esguerra. Regarding the budget for the El Nino, that's I think 19 billion. So how much have we used so far? And paano yung details on what more do we need to spend on parang may na-earmark na ba for the remaining funds?
I think itong 6.5 billion is as a whole. No, since from the start, yes. Since February of 2015. January. So yung last year is different. Sorry. This is January of 2016 to April 2, 2016. Last year is 3.4 billion. February 2015 to December 31, 2015.
On the budget, yung kasing again, this is a very peculiar program kasi as you know, nagbabago yung mga affected areas, nagbabago din yung intensity of the impact, and we need to actually be flexible as well in the response, no? So yung actually nilagay namin na 19.2 billion, that was really considering the worst case scenario of El Nino. So as it turns out, even when we were already presenting this to the President dun pa, lumalabas na it was not as bad as we originally thought it would be. Kasi we had rains in December. Ayan. Tapos nagkaroon ng early planting also because of the production support. So yun. So this is something where, in fact, yesterday, yun na rin ang tanong sa amin eh, can we say how much percentage has already been So it's difficult to put it in percentage because you have a very moving yung denominator eh. Yun. Kasi every month. No, so we get monthly updates from PAG-ASA. So every month kailangan mong i-recalibrate ulit yung interventions. But rest assured na even with the worst case scenario, napaghandaan natin yung worst case scenario na yun, which actually, hopefully, did not actually materialize.
So how much have we already spent?
Wala kaming aggregate na figure pa, no? Kasi kanina ang pinag-report namin is on a per agency. So this will have to be consolidated. By the way, what we intend to do as well is ipopost sa website itong mga highlights ng aming mga TWG meeting, including all those tables on the figures and these amounts that were already disbursed. Even the PAG-ASA maps, i-upload namin.
Good afternoon. Balikan ko lang po yung sinabi ni Sir kanina na 67 yung El Nino affected provinces. Ilan? 67? 23?
Yung initial, when we formulated the rain, ang akala namin it will be 67 provinces.
But it was 20.
Sa ngayon yung experiencing drought, nasa 23. Yung naka-experience niya ng drought during this time.
Okay. Ilan po yung under state of calamity?
Dalawa.
Which are?
7 provinces, 25 municipalities, and 2 barangays. Tama ba? Where's Lenny?
Ay, ano po yung 7 provinces?
Perhaps Yusek Pama would want to respond to that.
We have 7 provinces, 5 cities, 24 municipalities, and 2 barangays who declared state of calamity. Ito pong basis po natin dito yung kanilang mga resolutions. Because we do not carry declarations of state of calamity on the basis of just an announcement. We base it on the issued resolutions of the local government units. The 7 provinces are the provinces of Isabela, Quirino, Bukidnon, Davao del Sur, Cotabato, and Maguindanao. Yan po yung mga 7 probinsya. At Basilan. Yan po yung 7 provinces na nag-declare ng state of calamity. There are the 24 municipalities, para hindi po tayo tumagal, we can provide you the list in a while. 5 cities as well, and 2 barangays. Ibibigay na lang po namin yung listahan if you're interested in a while dun sa municipalities.
Additional. Dun po sa pag-verify ng recipients, kasi isa sa mga reklamo sa Kidapawan is parang ang tagal daw nung pagdadala ng donation or hindi agad na-verify kung sino yung beneficiaries. Paano po ba yung sistema?
May sistema na tayo dyan. Ang una nating criteria, yung criteria ng sila ba ay nakalista as small farmers belonging to poor households. So yung ating national database ng National Household Targeting, yun ang pinaka-primary basis namin. At ito ay aming sinusundan, binavalidate together with Department of Agriculture sa local level kung yung pamilyang yun ba ay nakalista as small farmer or di kaya fisher folk. So yung aming mga counterparts sa baba, local counterpart namin na social welfare officers, sila ay tumutulong sa amin. Sila yung nagva-validate kasama yung aming Task Force El Nino focal person sa regional office at binavalidate kung kumpirmado nga na yung pamilyang yun ay kailangan talaga ng tulong at within the list. No? So ito yung isa sa mga kadahilanan na kailangan closer ang relationship and coordination, partnership between the national and the local government units. Sila yung nakakaalam kung sino-sino sa kanilang mga constituents ang talagang kailangang tulungan at ito ay may mga scientific validation tools.
Ma'am, so by now, dapat tapos na po lahat ng...
Tapos na dapat. At kaya ito yung aming pagbigay tulong at tuloy-tuloy. So mapansin ninyo na yung natulungan namin ay hindi yun constant kung hindi dumadami yun.
Next question.
I'm Shariza from Philippine Star. Sirs and ma'am, was it discussed during the meeting this morning if there is a need to import more rice for buffer stocking?
Renan Dalisay po, NFA Administrator. Right now, kung sa usapin po ng El Nino, ang titingnan po natin, that's why I want to explain this kasi last year pa ho namin pinaghahandaan ng El Nino. Ang pinakamatinding effects ng El Nino kung magkakaroon po ng shortage or magkakaroon ng pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas. Pero tulad nga po ng nabanggit ni Secretary Manny, makikita niyo po yung indicators ngayon na we have stable ang presyo ng bigas. In fact, bumababa precisely because stable po ang ating supply. That is despite nagkaroon po tayo ng lando, nona, and even yung pagdating ng lean months. Ang isa pong dahilan dito dahil nung nag-umpisa po tayo maghanda sa El Nino, ang pinaghandaan po natin ay yung 1998 scenario kung saan nagkaroon ng 24% drop sa harvest. So para ma-ensure na hindi tayo magkulang ng supply at hindi tumaas ang presyo, ang pinaghandaan natin yung worst scenario na yun. But so far, napansin po namin dahil nabanggit nga, nagkaroon ng ulan nung November, December, nakasingit po yung mga farmers ng pagtatanim at nagkaroon din ng harvest nung January, February. Ang amin pong records nasa mga less than 10% pa lang. So kung 24% yung pinaghandaan mo at 10% pa lang yung nagiging bawas dun sa aming pinaghandaan, nagiging enough buffer stock po to hanggang lean months. Kaya hanggang ngayon po for this year, hindi pa tayo nag-aangkat. Ang dumating lang po dito, end of March, is yung part ng 750,000 na kinontract out last year. 250 arrived last quarter, 500 arrived first quarter of 2016.
Sir, pahabol ako. For how many days po yung buffer stock natin ngayon?
Right now, ang buffer stock natin is good for 34 days nationwide.
Any more questions from the back? Ay, Ron.
So yung 300,000 plus hectares, sir, for this year, 370,000 hectares, hindi itong mga palay farmlands.
Iba-iba na po yan. Opo, lahat-lahat na yan, total. Well, actually po malaking corn. If I may also bumalik din, sir, dun sa tanong mo kanina. I have projections for rice and corn kasi ito yung ating dalawang major crop naman. No? Our projections for corn in terms of damage, the corn program projected a 500,000 metric ton damage or loss because of El Nino. Actual po until the first semester of 2016 is at 199,572 metric tons. So that's a 40% 40% po yung reduction no doon sa ating projection versus the actual. For this year lang po for the first semester. First quarter. And for rice naman po, ito yung nabanggit ko kanina. The rice program was projecting a 900,000 metric ton loss for the first quarter, but the actual loss is at 225,272. So just the 25% loss out of the projected 900,000 metric tons.
First quarter,
First semester. Quarter. Nalilito ako. First quarter. Yes, sir.
corn, sir, first quarter din yun. Yes. Sir, kailan yung may bago bang projection as to when El Nino will end? Is it May, June?
Ang projection natin is mag-normalize siya by April, May, June na months. Ngayon, nagdi-decline na yung kanyang intensity, pero pagdating ng June ay mag-normalize na siya. Kahit na po hindi siya mag-normalize pa doon sa June, tag-ulan na rin po yung May and June eh. So makakabawi na rin po tayo starting in late May or mid-May until sa susunod na mga buwan.
Any more questions? Last two. Okay, oo, Ron pa rin.
But so even if the El Nino, we normalize May, June, the negative effects, or when do we see we continue to feel the effects third quarter of
Siguro hanggang third quarter ng May. Third quarter ng May.
of this year?
May this year. Siguro mga, di ba, kung hahatiin natin ng 4 yung 30 days. So, siguro third week of May. Hanggang third week of May. Oo, third week of May.
Even if that normalized,
Yung impact niyan, yun nga yun. Kasi pagdating nga ng May, ay tag-ulan na rin yan eh. So makakabawi na rin tayo ng pangangailangan natin ng ulan.
In terms of ano naman po for agriculture, no, kasi timely naman po na makakahabol yan dun sa land preparation ng ating mga magsasaka. And also this morning, in terms of our water level dun sa mga dams and some of the areas which are karamihan po dun sa mga irrigated lands naman, it was reported that we have NEA reported that we have sufficient water to cover the to cover the necessities for water ng mga rice fields. So,